Yo, man, what's going on, y'all? I press live at the tail end of a funnier conversation. But welcome to another edition of the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube, man. My name is JV Wins. That's Dogon SS as usual. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody for supporting. Before we get into it this week, I want to preface, as I always do, by saying, if you are just being introduced to what we do here over on Conscious Approach, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can know whenever we publish new content to the channel, because we enjoy doing this. So we certainly appreciate you supporting what we put out into the ether. Go ahead and hit that like button. Comes at no cost to you. Wherever you're seeing this video on the various channels, go ahead and support, man. Share the video, like the video, but above all, please subscribe to the channel as we move forward with some positive momentum. We are on a race to 1,000 subscribers. That is our current goal. We are still small fry in the grand scheme of the YouTube ecosystem, so we certainly appreciate every bit of support that we get. And if you happen to be watching this on stream, or if you watch this as a standalone video upload, man, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this video. Let us know where we went wrong. Let us know where we went right, because we really don't care if you disagree or not. We ain't trying to run a cult on this channel. We just trying to have some interesting conversation that hopefully we can, take something away from and become better people, I guess. Yeah, but yeah. So enough with all of that grandstand, and we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. A platform of the channel. So we have friends of the channel, Lizzo's and Kanye's, Aries Spears, Will Smith, who else? Cardi B, Lori Harvey. We got a lot of friends on the channel. We refer to these individuals as friends of the channel because they provide us with the type of content that we like to talk about on this channel. And a platform of the channel, they aren't a friend per se because it's not an individual, but we commonly like to take cues from the We in Miami podcast because they tend to bring some interesting people onto their platform to have interesting conversations that we like to piggyback on this channel. And so this particular segment is no exception. For this particular example here, there were several ladies who joined the We in Miami podcast, and they got into a diatribe, if you will, on why they will never, ever again date a broke man. So modern dating and relationships and all these sorts of ideologies and philosophies is, fodder for this channel. And that's to put it mildly. We spare no expense to use every opportunity that we can to supply some sort of logic and sensibility to some of the crazy stuff that not just women, but everybody, men and women, everybody be saying nowadays out here on these streets. And this is no exception. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and we'll talk about it. Again, this is women on the We in Miami podcast talking about how or why they will never, ever date a broke guy. So, of course, we are going to give our 2 cents on this and talk about what they had to say once we finish playing this clip.
I will never again in my life with a broke guy. Amen. I don't care what you call me a gold digger, never in my fucking life would I ever deal with a broke digger.
Would you consider yourself to be a gold digger?
No, absolutely not, because I'm the type of person that I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make my own money.
Women will always forever do more. Are you gonna carry the baby 4.5 times out the month? No, he's not. So it's never gonna be 50-50. Women always give more.
Really?
Period.
So you believe that?
Of course I believe that.
Nowadays, guys want us to pay bills. They want us to have our shit together. They want us to match their masculinity or whatever.
Us women, we can't live off of one income anymore. So women started working, they started hustling. So over time, women started hustling harder than men because naturally we are a little more organized. We're better at doing some jobs than they are. Now we became a little too strong-minded. We got big-headed.
They want us to do half of what they're supposed to do.
Plus what we do.
We also got to
talk about the situations we walk ourselves into.
That's what I'm saying. It'll never be 50-50.
They started slacking. They don't want to pay bills. They don't want to do. They want to be in the house or their mama house.
Because you know what? Women are better at running than men are sometimes.
I don't date broke niggas like to be with, raise my kids with. No.
But would that mean that you're just using them for their
right? Them broke niggas be laying the pipe.
Because that's all they got.
The rich niggas be tired a lot. They be sleeping.
All I heard was beep boop, beep beep boop, beep beep boop. Then the other one started talking beep 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 boop beep boop. And it's like, wow, these ladies have opinions of their own. I swear I've never heard this before. And this is the scenario. This is the situation. We've got a pandemic going on when it comes to the psychosis of the American people. And right now, I would say that in this time in human history, I would say that this is the most mentally I don't want to say challenged, but mentally I don't know, struggling group of people that has ever walked the earth. These are the most lost individuals. You can have your preferences. I'm not saying that you can't. You can have your lifestyle choices. And if your black card can swipe high enough, then why not deal with guys who have better lifestyles and live that life? I'm not here to hate on whatever anybody's trying to do per se, because they're going to do it anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's happening too often and it's way too common. And this is weird behavior. And it needs to be called out as such. This is completely deviating off the rails. And they're trying to really normalize. Well, it's not trying to. It has already become normalized in the mainstream to view men in this capacity. The way that I honestly feel that women view men is how generally speaking, how black people view white people. And where it's a situation, especially where there's white privilege and, hey, I need mines. Where's mines? And it's just like, okay, well, what did you do to achieve that? Still give me mines. I want mines. And if they steal from a white guy, it's like, I stole from a white guy. I stole from a white company. I ain't steal from a black company though. That's the sisterhood, basically. And so when these girls are out here and they do something to a man, it's like, he's a man. So he can handle it. He got it. He should be able to handle it. I'm the emotional based creature. He's not. He'll be better. And just move on. And so that's why they can speak about men so like they're so disposable. And they just go through life swiping their card, devaluing themselves and their self-esteem. And they just keep swiping, and feel no remorse. And then once they actually verbalize what's going on in their heads, it has this pathology to it. I have more. But how about you, sir? How do you feel about this scenario, man? Where's modern dating headed with this in the dating pool?
It's going into the toilet. Well, it's already in the toilet.
In there.
That was very well said. I didn't think of it that way. That's a very interesting perspective on that. It is, yeah, they do sort of callously like think of men as just these disposable. It's almost like a wet wipe. Oh, I use this to wipe the crack of my ass. Let me just dispose of it. Like a lot of men are perceived in that capacity nowadays, and it's very unfortunate. I forget the topic that we did. This was a long time ago, so this one I'm not going to recall off the top of my head. But we had a topic that we were discussing, and you brought up the point about how them speaking in this capacity is a reflection of the type of men that they choose to give their energy to. Exactly. So, this is once again another shimmering example of this not necessarily being a reflection upon men entirely, although men do have work to do. Don't get me wrong. But this is more so a reflection of the type of guys that y'all talk to. Like, this just reeked of I talk to dusty, crusty men. And I'm going to project my failures because of the fact that I deal with dusty, crusty men onto all men and sort of spew out this ideology which suggests that all men are this way. And it's just completely one-sided and lacking in any kind of reasonable thought process. Like, I got a younger sister. One time I was hanging out with a group of her friends. Oh, no, rather, I was talking to one of her friends on the phone one day. And, she was talking about how she's struggling and she wants this kind of guy who's like this or like that or like this or like that, blah, blah, blah. And so, I posed some questions to her because she talked about how she wants a guy who's ambitious. She wants a guy, 4-letter words, more 4-letter words and code words, right? So, she was throwing out that she was like, "Oh, I want a guy who's like this or like that or ambitious." It's not really about money per se, but he needs to have these sort of intangible qualities and be ambitious. And I posed the question to her, okay, well, what if he is the regional manager at Walmart? Simple questions. I said, what if he is the regional Walmart manager? So, regional Walmart managers, and I happen to know this for a fact, make about $75K or more, depending on how many years they have doing it. Because when you're a regional manager, you run several stores, not just one. And it's, if you've become a regional manager, it means that you've been in the Walmart system for years. So you're climbing the Walmart ladder. Now, the Walmart ladder isn't as sexy as Merrill Lynch or the corporate ladder or something like this, but you're climbing a ladder nevertheless. And so I asked her, okay, if you want a guy who's ambitious, what if it was a guy who was the regional manager of Walmart and he was making good money and doing his thing? Would you want to date that guy? She said no. Because it had nothing to do with ambition in a vacuum. It was about the type of ambition. See, like women got it. Like a lot of these women have it twisted, and these women in this clip, I would imagine, think along the same lines. Like, they're not going to date a guy who's a structural engineer or an architect.
No, that's
because
boring.
to them, yeah, exactly. Because to them, a guy like that is boring. But I guarantee you that a structural engineer or an architect is going to be a guy who handles his business, who runs the household, who makes the money, and who's not going to make you feel as though you need to do all of that stuff that they was talking about in that clip, and is not going to make you feel as though you need to come to the table doing all of these things to supplement for everything that he's lacking. So really, who are the type of men that you're giving your energy to? You don't want to date the IT guy. You don't want to date the structural engineer. You don't want to date the architect. You don't want to date the guy who, after there's a hurricane, he's climbing up on power lines to restore power, jobs that you can't do because most of you are physically unable to do them. You won't date those guys because those guys don't excite your emotions enough, because you live through the prism of your phones and your feeds and the music that you listen to. And so what's masculine to you isn't actual masculinity. So you'll date a guy who is popping on Instagram or who's a rapper or an entertainer, guys who from a masculinity standpoint aren't real men and don't have actual manhood abilities or skills to speak of. But because that's what gets you going, those are the types of guys that you talk to. And then when they disappoint you because they place these stipulations on you that are disadvantageous to your individuality, you then talk about how all men ain't worth nothing but laying pipe and that you won't date a broke guy, because a lot of those guys also tend to be broke, struggle rappers on the struggle bus and whatnot. You know what guys aren't broke? Structural engineers and architects. Those guys aren't broke. But again, those guys are boring. And when push comes to shove, women with this type of pathology, to use your word, will forego the things that they claim to be desiring in lieu of what most excites their emotions. And that's their greatest fatal flaw. So, like, this is just a reflection of the type of guys that y'all talk to, ladies. not all of y'all, but a good amount of y'all, a good enough amount of y'all who are willing to get onto these types of shows and spew this BS out into the masses for other impressionable women to listen to and pick up on and decide, oh, I can think the way I've been thinking because they think this way too. And as long as you continue to think this way, you'll continue to feel as though men are, nothing more than disposable, penises, I guess, is a way to kind of put it mildly. But that's what kind of rang true to me. And this ain't just women on OnlyFans, Instagram, the internet at large. This is dissipated into the masses, and everyday women walking around out here in these streets who are going to school, working in retail, working in the service industry. They think like this too, and it's crazy and it's insane. And all I can say to you guys out there who are in the IT or STEM sciences and studying to become structural engineers and architects, keep doing what you're doing, because you're not the one that's in the wrong. It's women like this who are in the wrong.
No, and vet them, just to piggyback off that, and vet them appropriately. Because if they weren't going to deal with you until they found out you were a structural engineer, you know what I'm saying? The mood changed. All of a sudden, she's being nicer now. That's a nah, bro. That's very conditional. I wonder what other conditions are going to come up later. So, your heads up, man. Words to the wise. And you really got to be mindful. That girl didn't call herself a gold digger, because gold digger has such a connotation to it where they really think of, hot young girl dealing with 83-year-old man about to kick the bucket. And it's like, oh, gold digger, or somebody who's really balling hard, multi-millionaire, and it's just some girl leeching and just taking money from him. And it's just like, nah, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to reserve gold digger for that term, fine, girl. You ain't no gold digger.
Yeah, right.
But if your objective whenever you're dealing with a man is his income, nothing else. I've heard these women say, I don't want to get cheated on. I don't want to share no man. But in the same breath, they said, I'll deal with a cheater who got the bag though. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he got the bag. And so what? So all of these conditions, what should we believe? When should we believe what they're saying? And this is where I have come to conclusions with, because they literally talk out of both sides of the neck. These types of women, not all of them. Come on. and they you got to say that sometimes. Not me, yeah. Guy. He ain't talking about me. And by the way, ladies, in the comments section, could you please let us know, are Birkin bags lifestyles really that important? Do we really need that? If you're I don't need no Birkin bag. I don't need none of that. Okay, well, what's your definition of a Birkin bag lifestyle? What would he like? What would be ideal? Is it an excursion somewhere while you're on some resort? That's Birkin bag money still. You're just not in a bag. So please, ladies, let us know. Are these lifestyles that important? Yeah. And I'll say this too, because these girls are talking about all these dusty dudes. Well, they're dusty. They wouldn't say they are dusties, with their piercings and their tattoos and, multicolored hair and all this other stuff. They wouldn't call themselves average, or dusty, but they're average women. So they get average dudes. Oh, they may bag a guy in the sense of they'll have sex with a guy who makes X amount of dollars. But what did you just say? You didn't say anything. Who are the guys that's hanging around that actually want to be with you? Is it all of these dusty broke guys? Then guess what you are, man? You're dusty and broke. And women, their value isn't equated off money. So you can be $100,000 woman and you broke, because that's your money's not in your wallet, sister. Your money is in your femininity, your value that you hold to yourself. You're not just giving it to the streets. So yeah, you broke and dusty, just like the broken dusties you deal with. And people really need to look in the mirror. Everybody wants to talk about accountability. Yeah, man, look in the mirror. And you have to cut people off. All this giving people a fair shot. Everybody's a unicorn. Everybody's, oh, come on, man. Give me a fair shot. To tell you a great sob story. But if you believe that, that's on you. Their track record speaks for itself. They got a rap sheet, and they're going to change for you. So who's the fool here? Them or you? So we really got to be mindful as people. These girls can sit here and fling crap at the walls all day and holler about broke boys and rich guys and all this other crap. At the end of the day, they don't respect anybody. So therefore, they don't respect themselves. So these young ladies can be in Miami. All right. They can do whatever they want. All right. You're getting a hard pass, man. All of you. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wild stuff, man.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. It's just like, Lotto, a few videos back, she's like, oh, I was so disappointed. I was trying to put this song out, but the artist who I was featured on the song with wanted to have sex with me.
Come
And I
on,
really
bro.
felt some type of way about that.
Come
And it was
on.
like, well, it's like, all right, if you want to choose to feel violated because of that, that's fine.
man. Exactly.
But you constantly put content out where you are basically leveraging your looks and your vagina to get ahead in life. You put the content out there. You are always going to receive what you put out into the universe. That will always happen. It's full circle. It's a universal law. So if you put out into the atmosphere that you're available to the highest bidder and you can't be with me unless you're a rich guy who has a bag, then a rich guy who has a bag is going to test the limits on your rhetoric. And at that point, it's unreasonable to challenge that. You can choose to feel disrespected if you want, but the way that the real world works, if you're reasonable, you understand where that energy came from. So you can decline it, but getting offended by it shows that you just sort of lack in the type of critical thinking that is tantamount to actually making it far in this crazy world. And it's the same thing with chicks like this. You are like the men that you are with are a reflection of you. Like the way that they're talking, I can automatically tell they deal with dusty, crusty men. So they probably deal with department store guy, restaurant cook guy. And I'm not trying to disparage restaurant cook guy or department store guy either. But these are the types of men that those women are talking about. It is what it is. You're not dealing with hedge fund guy because hedge fund guy can spot your worth a mile away and know that there's better options out there for him. So when you talk about how you will never ever date a broke guy and you good for this and good for that and good for this, definitely check yourself in the mirror. I thought that was a very good piece of sound advice because you're being with quote unquote broke. And again, we can get into the weeds with what qualifies as broke. But I think within the context of this particular topic, I think I know what they're referring to as broke. And it might actually be actual broke for real, judging by the way that they're talking and how they acting. That's a reflection on you and how what you put into the atmosphere is going to dictate type of men that you get back to you in return. And your currency isn't worth enough for men of true value to determine that you are anything that's worth their time. But again, most of the men of true value probably don't excite your emotions enough anyway, so it's a moot point. Nevertheless, this is all on y'all. All y'all ladies out there talking all of this crazy stuff. Y'all are on this modern mentality, getting on all of these podcasts talking about you will and will not tolerate. But behind closed doors and in the shadows, you know what it is that you garner for real. And that's something that you're going to have to reconcile personally. That is not a reflection of men because all men are not even close to what you just described. And you can be very clear about that.
100. And I'll just say this. It's just wild just thinking that if I polled 100 of these modern women, 100 of them is going to give me bad boy on a motorcycle, ripped jackets, arms showing, sunglasses, chewing a piece of straw, spurs on his boots, tattoo on his arm. And then, she comes to him to try to talk to him, and he's emotionally unavailable. Trauma life, clearly. She wants him. Well-to-do man goes to the same diner, pulls up in his Volkswagen. That'll get you no play. But it screams, I'm an engineer. He pulls up to the same diner, Volkswagen. Clearly got the bag. She's dealing with motorcycle, tattoo, arm showing, spurs man. And then she'll run to the internet after emotionally unavailable, clearly traumatized man traumatizes her. Then she runs to the internet and screams, I'm a victim. No, ma'am. You chose that because you didn't see Volkswagen man. All right. He was a little too clean cut. A little too boring, a little too safe. I need a little some little edge. And whenever that's the choice, there's immaturity there. And all I heard was a room full of middle school girls when these girls were in here talking. Yeah. That's all I heard was beep boop, beep, 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 boop. 1010 001. What you say, girl? 001. Oh yeah, that's true. 110. What are we doing? So yeah, man, whenever I hear them speaking like R2D2, it's like, ma'am, we're done here. So yeah, man, take notes, everybody. The gospel is on the internet. Do a little bit of digging, and you should be able to find you some answers about what's going on out here. You should be able to navigate these waters a lot better now that you know how these people really think, because they're actually talking out loud. So take notes. Take notes.
Yeah, they're very emboldened in their ideology and brazen enough that they can proudly say it on wider platforms and not feel as though they are risking being held accountable for it. And, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all ladies need to just learn how to make better choices, or live with the choices that you make, but don't, project that as a problem on men when that's a you problem. Like that you want to, there's guys out here who aren't broke as you claim, because it's always about income and money when it comes to a man, right? So there's a whole bunch of dudes out here who ain't broke and they don't excite you enough. And so you won't talk to them either. So, figure out what it is that you want and, keep that BS to yourself. Seriously.
The emotionally unavailable biker.
Yeah, right. Or a rapper or NBA player or NFL player who already has a body count that is publicly acknowledged, and yet you still go for it anyway and then get upset.
Hey, man,
when
it's
you
the
get
American
disappointed.
dream, bro. It's the American dream.
Yeah. But it's all the man's fault, right? What are you gonna do? Yeah.
The patriarchy.
All right, so it's been a while since we talked about Larsa Pippen. Larsa Pippen, at first, she was in denial of her apparent relationship with one of the sons of Michael Jordan, Marcus Jordan, but now it's becoming more and more clear that there's something going on there. But recently, Larsa Pippen and Michael Jordan were seen publicly taking a photo, and it's the photo itself that has everything in question. Now, obviously, Larsa Pippen's rap sheet is longer than the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? She is a perpetrator of the highest regard, and yet she continues to find herself in these situations that seem to benefit her public profile. Now that you talked about the American dream as you close out the last topic. Larsa Pippen is the American dream for real.
Listen, she's living like a thought Hall of Famer.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
post wall bagging.
Yeah.
Who does
Yeah. At a very high level. At a very high level. She is definitely eclipsing. Like modern thought was basically invented by Kim Kardashian and by
Agreed.
extension the Kardashian family,
Agreed.
which it's no accident that she was associated with that family for a while.
Agreed.
But she's taking it to a whole nother level. She is the evolution of that. Like if Kim Kardashian was, Squirtle, Larsa Pippen is Blastoise. For anybody who is familiar with Pokemon references, Larsa Pippen is really the evolution of this thought game. And for her to be so far past the wall and still doing this is both disgusting and impressive all at the same time. So there's people who are looking at this recent photo between Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan and wondering whether this is an outright troll of Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen and Larsa Pippen were married for a long time. They have 3-4 kids together, something like that. They went through a real messy type on again, off again, separated, then not separated setup before they were officially divorced like 1 or 2 years ago. But they posed in front of this artistic rendering of Michael Jordan's white Chicago Bulls jersey. So I'll read a little bit here from this excerpt from TMZ. It says, Larsa Pippen and Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, just went Instagram official. And Scottie Pippen may have taken a stray in the process. Scottie's ex-wife of 24 plus years, they divorced in 2021, posed in a see-through shirt and short shorts with 32-year-old Marcus on Monday at his trophy room retail boutique in Orlando. And the two are clearly holding hands. But what makes the whole thing a bit awkward, the two are standing right in front of a floral arrangement designed to look like the Chicago Bulls legends number 23 jersey. Of course, Scottie and MJ had a notoriously rocky relationship, and the all-time legendary teammates are far from best friends. Larsa has downplayed the situation from the jump, claiming several times it's not an issue because the families don't hang out. Marcus and Larsa first sparked dating rumors when they were spotted in Miami late last year and haven't shied away from cameras since. Pippen previously claimed that they were just friends, but this picture says differently, and no one actually believes that. That's pretty much all cap. The only way that they are friends is if this is some sort of media setup where they're faking an actual relationship but are actually friends for real. But Larsa has done disrespectful things towards Scottie Pippen in the past, so this would be consistent with that, pattern of behavior. I don't know what Marcus Jordan is doing for that matter. He's a grown man, so he can do whatever he wants. But it's just extra. It's interesting because, coming out of that Last Dance movie from a couple years ago, Scottie Pippen has been on a public tirade against Mike because he feels as though he was not portrayed very well in that movie. He's always felt as though Mike got more credit than he deserved, or rather, Scottie's always felt like he deserved more credit for the Bulls, run, for the success. So he's always had some kind of weird axe to grind, and there's always been this weird energy between him and Michael Jordan. And Scottie Pippen has been doing public appearances over the last year, pretty much going at Mike. And now it's just weird because now his ex-wife is apparently dating Michael Jordan's son. See, like, you can't make this stuff up. So you got that. You got the fact that it's Jordan's son. You got the fact that it's Larsa Pippen who has this track record. And so it's just all over the place. And this is just westernized craziness, on full display, I feel. But, I don't know how you felt about that.
Well, it's bizarre. This is bizarre. I'm sitting here looking at when I first caught wind of this rumor, right? And I'm sitting here going like, first thing I go is like, why, bro? I mean, there's so many women out there. That's what I'm saying. This is what makes it weird. Like, is he looking for clout in this? You looking for clout, bro? You're Jordan's son. You want your claim to fame for people that didn't even know you existed to be smashing Scottie Pippen's ex-wife? I mean, my thing is that, love is love, right? Yeah, whatever.
Right.
And this to me screams we both want attention. I think I know for her for sure, if she does come from the Kardashian coaching tree, okay, then at this point, she knows how to play the media in her favor. She's got certain headline groups in her back pocket. Hey, we're going to show up over here, or I just posted a picture there, or hey, run this story. And that can probably explain some of her antics that she finds herself in, because it's all a ploy. And so for the Jordan guy, hey man, teach their own. Smash out. Beasley did it, Future did it. The '94 Bulls did it. So get in line, take your shot. There's no risk of getting her pregnant. So I guess just do your thing, man. And ride this out like you're Travis Scott dealing with a Jenner, because he's getting his name posted and stuff. And honestly, this situation is getting him more views than he's gotten, playing a basketball game. I remember watching, I think that's the one that played for UCF, or
they both played, but I think he's the one that played at UCF.
Yeah. So yeah. I saw him on ESPN when he was growing up and while he was playing, and I'm like, bro, good, cool. You getting busy. You're not the best dude out there, but you ain't no slouch. So I respected him for that. But that was the end of that. He wasn't, people really don't know of him. He just went away. And it's like, oh yeah, Jordan do got kids. I wonder what happened to him. Somebody will make a hit piece on him on YouTube saying, why weren't Jordan's sons as good as he was? And that crap. But now he's getting major play. Maybe he's going to parlay this into a situation for him financially. So who knows? But yeah, when you're dealing with Hollywood, because this venture into the Hollywood category, even though this is sports and athletics, this has real. I mean, it happened. This is front lines and the tabloids behavior. And we don't have the tabloids still exist, but they're TMZs, they're shade rooms. Okay. And so they're not, in the checkout aisle when you go on at the grocery store, but you on your phone a lot more than you were in that grocery store aisle. So they really like to get to people with these types of stories, give them something to chew on. But for me, I really feel as though this is more Hollywood shenanigery. There's nothing going on there. I can't imagine the sex is good. Sorry, I'm going there. All right. I can't imagine. All right. The throat might be fire. But as far as everything else, I can't imagine why you would deal with that versus dealing with, a woman who's a lot more his age range.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. But this I'm filing this in the Hollywood tabloids. We need attention behavior, because there was no reason for them to post. There was no reason for them to post that. And honestly, I don't really know who's reading into that like that, besides whoever they said, hey, we took a picture next to Michael Jordan's, memorial pin. All right. And, we could be sending shots. This is great headline. And then TMZ, there they go. Type it away. So yeah, I think this is tabloids behavior, to be honest.
Yeah. It has a sports and athletics component, but it's actually far more Hollywood than sports, because the individuals directly involved have nothing to do with sports. Larsa ain't play no sport, and Jordan's son after college didn't play no more sports, so they ain't involved with no sports. So it's definitely more of a Hollywood type story. Man, I'm starting to look at Scottie Pippen the same way that I came to start looking at Will Smith. Scottie Pippen is starting to look like a Hollywood cuck. and it gives me no pleasure to say that. It really doesn't. Now, again, I'm not in Hollyweird, so I don't know how much of this is staged and manufactured and how much of it is
Hey.
real and authentic. I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay. But as someone who is not in Hollyweird, I'm going to operate under the assumption that this is not staged because of how it makes someone look to the majority of the population who's also not in Hollyweird.
It's fair.
And Scottie Pippen is starting to approach Will Smith levels. You know what? Let me take that back. I feel like Scottie Pippen is even more of a cuck than Will Smith because at least Will Smith's marriage.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Because number one, Will Smith's marriage, for whatever it's worth, is still intact. Whereas Scottie Pippen's marriage is dissolved, probably permanently. Furthermore, you have Jada Pinkett doing all of this stuff, and the entanglement thing came out with the little, what's that boy name? August Alsina, who we later found out is actually like a bisexual man, I think. So there's just all sorts of layers of weirdness going on with all of this crap, right? There's all sorts of debauchery and weirdness with this. But Larsa Pippen is like 3, 4, 5 bodies over that in terms of publicly embarrassing Scottie Pippen when it comes to Future and posting pics to Instagram of her at Future's house, which is beyond disrespectful. There's Malik Beasley showing up at his games, posting pics in public, holding his hands, all of this kind of stuff. It's beyond disrespectful. And everything else that Larsa Pippen has going on with her track record, doing OnlyFans. To my knowledge, Jada Pinkett is not on OnlyFans. Larsa Pippen very proudly is a part of OnlyFans, where she is only trying to sell incels the dream of a date by providing them access into her personal life and her dating preferences in exchange for their subscriptions. So these incels who follow Larsa Pippen on OnlyFans aren't actually going to be with Larsa Pippen per se. They're literally funding her lifestyle and putting money directly in her pockets via subscriptions so that they have access to her telling them the type of stuff that she's into on a personal level, her interests and her likes and dislikes and her dating preferences, even though she'll never actually date these guys. Once again, beyond disrespectful when you juxtapose that to the fact that a man was married to this woman for over a quarter century. So it is because of these various things that I look at Scottie Pippen with a side eye and I say, bro, what were you doing with this chick this whole time? Now, for all we know, Scottie was doing his thing on the side because we all know Larsa was doing her thing on the side. And so it breaks even at that point. But I think in the aftermath of these types of situations, it benefits the woman in the long run more than the men, because as a man, you just start to look like a cuck, a sucker, a punk, someone whose woman ran roughshod on them physically and emotionally. And as I've said before, and I'll say again, no relationship works when there is no respect afforded to the man from the woman. The minute a woman stops respecting a man is the moment that that relationship is over. And so it's no coincidence that that situation ended as tumultuously as it did, and ended in a divorce, and ended being ugly. Because if Larsa does not have the wherewithal to think this might rub my ex-husband the wrong way, given the rocky relationship that he has with this kid's dad, if that doesn't occur to her to the point where she's going to be in that pig anyway and she doesn't give a damn, and clearly she doesn't give a damn, then of course she doesn't have the amount of respect that one would assume you need to have in order to be in a type of marriage setup with a guy. So all of this kind of makes sense and is on brand for everybody involved. Larsa most of all. But I look at Scottie most of all and I say, bro, what were you doing? And Jordan's son is following suit. Bro, what are you doing? But again, I don't know how much of this is staged and Hollyweird versus authentic. Assuming that it is more authentic than staged, I'm looking at both of these guys and I'm saying, you're making men look bad and you're giving men a bad name. Scottie's starting to look like a cuck. Jordan's son is just looking like another guy on the train of bodies levied at the feet of Larsa. And that type of decision making, getting into a situation with a woman like this, whether it's a situationship, entanglement, or an actual relationship, leads me to believe that you have certain tendencies that could manifest themselves in such a way that you, in your advanced age, end up a cuck yourself. And so, Jordan needs to get a hold of his boy and rein that shit in and say, hey, man, there's better choices out there. Lest he continues to let his son run amok and end up looking as embarrassed or as embarrassing as his, running mate Scottie Pippen now looks. But in my opinion, Will Smith, even though he's not completely off the hook, when you juxtapose that to Scottie Pippen, for me at least, in my opinion, Will Smith is somewhat off the hook because Scottie just looks worse and worse by the year as this woman continues to throw dirt on everything that this guy established for himself when he was in his prime.
Wow, that's a deep take. So let me ask you this. Wait, they're not married anymore though.
Who? Scottie and Larsa?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're divorced.
All right, yeah. So let me ask you this. So he divorces a woman who clearly is about that life. Okay, fair. But he divorced a woman who's about that life, the pull to be vindictive the way that she is. And for a woman who's scorned and upset about her ex, and she does stuff to always embarrass him, who's the one here that's really hurt? And who's the one that always has to, the one that's always doing, because she's bullying at this point if she's using the media to throw his, so who's the hurt one here? And so to cuck him out on that, that's a hard term, bro, because Will Smith is still married to that woman, and that man was sleeping in his house. And not only that, he was having sex with his wife and probably his son. So I don't know. It's hard
Will Smith is not off the hook, but to me,
Will, man,
it's hard to beat Will. Will Smith isn't off the hook, but it's and here's the thing. To be fair, let's say tomorrow it was announced that Will and Jada are getting divorced. If Jada were to start doing stuff like what Larsa is doing, I'd change my tune. But I don't have that information because they're still married. So for all intents and purposes, some of that has been buttoned up. Whereas Larsa is running amok and publicly embarrassing Scottie Pippen at apparently every turn that she gets. And I'm looking at the fact that he was married to her for almost 30 years dealing with that. And so that's where I look at Scottie and I say, yeah, you're a part of the cuck club too. We can pick and parse who's more of a cuck, Scottie or Will. We can do that all day because I'm not trying to win that argument. I'm not trying to win that argument, but I think that they're both in the club.
No, hey, well, I'll say that I can't. After I done broke up with a chick, she for the streets. And because she was for the streets anyway, if I done broke up with her, sorry if I done said that. If you watching, you ain't all the way for the streets. You just more street than I can handle. That ain't go no better. But anyway, if I done broke that thing off, she was for the streets, And so if one of them decided to throw dirt on my name afterwards or try to embarrass me or she embarrassed herself, and then people look at me like, damn, bro, that's the one you was all crazy for. That's the one you was, I say, hey, man, I ain't with her for a reason. And so for me, if you can always use that card, I left that. I was dealing with that, granted, but I would have been more of a cuck if I stayed. And so for her to go out there and to just do what she was going to do anyway, whether they was in a relationship or not, because she would have been taking them pictures anyway if they were married. That's how foul this woman is. So, yeah. So it's just like, all right, man, go ahead and do what you're going to do because you already doing it anyway. And I really think Pippen was already doing his, Scottie.
I hope
'Cause I-
so.
Yeah,
really
and
hope so.
I think I heard her when the whole Beasley thing was going on and they asking her questions because I didn't even know who this woman was until the Beasley thing. And then I'm and I'm hearing her talking. She was just talking about how he was infidelity, him always doing this. And so I mean, he's Scottie Pippen of the '96 Bulls. He gonna step out. So so I don't know. I still think that this either way, Scotty always looks bad. He does always come out looking crazy because as soon as they see, oh, this is what your ex-wife's doing, huh? And for whatever reason, I don't know why, his name outside of Pippen on the end of her last, uh gets him associated with. I was like, oh, okay, just his ex-wife just giving a box away again. What's new here? But then the streets, they're like, nah, look at you, Scotty. So it's just like, yeah, man, he can't win right now. He's in a bad. He picked the wrong one. So
Yeah,
and
that's yeah, for real. And that's what I'm saying, man. Unfortunately, the way these types of things work is, and I don't agree with this. I think it should be the other way around. I'm not in favor of this at all. But the way that these things play out in the mainstream media and in TMZ world, in social media troll world, and on the streets, is it tends to be more of a negative reflection on the man. And the woman just takes less shrapnel for whatever reason, for whatever societal reason that we want to look at and pinpoint. The woman is taking who took the brunt of the shrapnel of criticism for the Will Smith Jada Pinkett open marriage red table talk thing. Right. Right. And we don't know that the primary catalyst for all of that fallout very well could have been her. But when it boils down to it, at the end of the day, it's a reflection on the man.
Right.
And this is another reason why modern feminism doesn't exist. Because when it comes to relationships and marriages, a woman and her behavior is a reflection upon the man. No one ever looks at a woman and says that man's behavior is a direct reflection upon you. Not, at least not most people say that. It tends to go one way. And so, in the court of public opinion, Scottie Pippen is thrusted into the cuck community because they're not looking at the fact that he divorced her. They're looking at the fact that he was with her for over 24 years. That's what they're looking at. Right or wrong, fair or unfair. And it's like, Scottie, you're supposed to be this, guy who's able to handle his business. What went on during that situation that not only were you with her for so long, but once it was clear that the situation was over, this woman is running roughshod, taking photos with rappers at their house in bikinis, you know what I'm saying, like not even trying to conceal what she got going on out here. No, everybody's going to look directly back at Scottie Pippen. And I'm not saying that it's fair, but that's what the reaction is. She just gets to do what she does into perpetuity. If her and Marcus Jordan were to break up tomorrow and she got with another and she got with not a rapper, and she got with another public person half her age, they'd be like, oh, Larsa strikes again. But they gonna also say, damn, Scottie, she getting with another one like that. She got going on, bro? Who at home raising them kids? You or her? Y'all got nannies? What's the deal?
It's already a wrap for that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just like, man, bro, like, oh man, y'all got a vet. And it's bad, Scottie. But see, my brain went there immediately. Cause the thing about it is I put myself in people like Scottie Pippen's shoes and I say, okay, JV wins. What would you do if you found yourself in a situation where you could detect that you were dealing with a woman who, if it went south, could put you in a situation where her behavior is going to put you in the cuck community? And if it's me, I'm getting rid of her as soon as possible. I don't care how many kids we got. I don't care if we raising children. I don't care about any of those extenuating circumstances. I'm cutting my losses as soon as I possibly can. And I'm not going to let it linger to get to a point where it's really going to cost me if I let this go 10, 20 plus years. And so some of this is projection on my part because I'm saying I would not have done it that way. But everybody ain't me. Scottie Pippen ain't me. Will Smith ain't me. And everybody's entitled to make their own decisions and do what they want to do. But you're costing yourself in the long run, bro. And I think dudes need to take heed of stuff like this. And it doesn't matter because, you know, Larsa Pippen was once young. So she was once of childbearing age, and she was once in her prime physically and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, again, I'm going to say it. It's one of my long running themes. It does not serve a man well to be a slave to vagina. And I don't care how good it was in the moment. Just know that you can go out there and get you another catch, as opposed to staying in something where you can pick up on tendencies like those that I believe Larsa was clearly displaying while they were together, and you decided to languish in that situation anyway. I don't think that serves any dude well, and I think that it's clear it doesn't serve any dude well if you look at Scottie Pippen as an example. So,
and one more thing, and because we talk about not having, not letting yourself be a slave to vagina, but then I was also thinking, what's the flip side of that? What's the reciprocal of that? And you know, women being slaves for attention and being slaves for attraction, more attraction, and not people being attracted to them, their attraction in a man. They put so much emphasis on being attracted to a man that there's constantly a meter that they're walking around with. And based upon your activities for the day, your reading of attractivity to her is either whatever or whatever. And you're getting rated off of that. Not your overall performance, not your body of work, how she feels in the moment, what you're doing, and what I'm attracted to, what you're doing right now. You're not attracted to the fact that this person does all these things. And so the women that are on the spectrum of the women that we talked about in our first conversation, they're the ones where I got to be attracted to you. I got to be attracted to you in the moment. That's why the broke dudes who are attractive in spots, they got masculine traits in spots. And then so they give it to them in those spots. But then the other areas of masculinity where they're immature and they can't handle certain things, they can't handle finances, there's other things going on, right? They're just not ready yet or whatever. All right. So then they call them broke boys. I can't deal with them. Look, all this stuff that's wrong with him. But then when on the flip side of that, dealing with somebody who's, coming out of his Volkswagen, and then she's trying to talk to him. Yeah, he does all of these things, but I'm not attracted. In the moment, bro, I'm making too many decisions right now. In the moment, bro, you were supposed to call the waiter over here, not me. In the moment, I was supposed to be, you supposed to be closer to the street while we walking, not me. Attraction meter, boop, boop, and what's your tip at the end of the day? You know, so there's certain things that you can do around a woman, and her tip meter is going off the roof. Oh, I'm gonna give him some head tonight. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, he don't even know. As soon as we get home, boop, 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 boop. You know, but then there's the stuff that you do where, yeah, you didn't call the waiter over. She complained about her bread being cold. You were supposed to read her mind, call the waiter over and say, hey, can we get some warm bread over here? And then now, I said my bread was cold and he didn't do anything about it. Attraction level down. Who's getting head that night? So you changing your whole, you forget about the dinner. You got to be doing all this jujitsu at dinner. This is madness. And so the female equivalent, I would say, is them always seeking to be attracted to a man in the moment. And that's where they fall off at. That is very unrealistic. People will fail you in that department. And so for guys out here that think that just because they done wife the girl up, that they get an endless supply of vagina, think again. Hey, man, she busting her wide open during the talking phase. Let me cake this down and just get it all the time. Wrong again. You know, why are you doing this? You're doing this for sex. Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So, Yeah, man. So save yourselves out here. This situation with the Pippen guy, do your thing, bro. I don't think he should be hurting for none. I know I wouldn't if I was walking around talking about I'm Jordan, son. Hell, I ain't hurting for nothing. Walking around being the son of all that I got, and he ain't got, his brand worldwide. So I don't know why he got to deal with Pippen. That's the part about it that seems so extra petty to me and weird and bizarre as I led with. So do your thing, bro. I don't know what your end game for this is. I don't know what her end game is, but I really question. Anybody I question in this, it won't be Scottie. It won't be that girl. All right, it's definitely this Marcus guy, Marcus Jordan. Yeah. Might be mad that his name's Marcus. Hey, my bad, Marcus. Not Marcus Jordan, but Marcus. If you're watching this right now, bro, I'm not talking about you, man. It's just that if it's Jordan, if you think Jordan would name his son something, I don't know, man, something more spicier. Marcus is like, you didn't even put in the effort.
Yeah, I think Scottie just continues to look bad every time anything public that she does takes place. But yeah, and there's closer examination to Jordan's decision making. I don't get that either. I do think that it's odd, but I said before that just as there are women who are out here operating in a masculine energy. And I think it's safe to say Larsa Pippen moves in a very masculine capacity. Then there's guys who move in a feminine capacity, and so I don't think it's out of bounds to look at Marcus Jordan and say, "Are you trying to be an attention seeker?" Which to me is a feminine way of doing things.
Hey, keep going real quick. Let me get my charger, bro. Be right back.
Yeah. Marcus Jordan doing things in a feminine way, similar to all of these guys who signed Lori Harvey NDAs. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I hope it works out for him, but I would make a different choice. So,
hey, Lori, you talked about that, girl. Hey, yo.
Oh boy. All right, so for the last topic for tonight, we're gonna talk about another friend of the channel. Cardi B is a friend of the channel. Cardi B recently was on some show on YouTube, and she was talking about plastic surgery. The Jason Lee show, wherever Jason Lee is, I'm not quite sure who that is, but that's less relevant. What's more relevant is the content itself, right? I don't know who Jason Lee is. But yeah, so Cardi B was out here talking about her surgeries. I thought that this was an interesting topic for us to talk about. Cardi B, like I said, is another friend of the channel. We've discussed certain things that she's done or said publicly in the past on this channel several times. And so this is no exception. This particular excerpt is from Yahoo. It says, Cardi B talks about plastic surgery. Quote, I like being perfect. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to read a couple parts here. Says Cardi B says she's done with plastic surgery over a year after giving birth to her second child. The 30-year-old rapper and mother to Culture 4 and Wave 1 talked about going under the knife on the premiere episode of Revolt's The Jason Lee Show when discussing her brief hiatus from the spotlight after having her son in September 2021. I didn't want to pop out after I had my son because I told you I wanted to get my body done first, she said. A lot of people thought that, like, when I gave birth, I automatically went to do surgery. No, I literally waited like 7 months to do surgery because we have to. So I'm going to skip down here real quick. Quote, people will be assuming that when you do surgery or something, you're insecure about yourself or you hate yourself. And that's just not the truth. I just be feeling like if I want to correct something, I want to do a little something. I want to do a little something. Like I don't give a F. I'm going to do it. I like being perfect. I like a certain type of body for myself. And if I want to do it, I'll do it. End quote. Even before she was famous, Cardi said she felt that she had a quote big nose, but was afraid to get it done. Around 2018, people started talking about a non-surgical way to change it. So blah 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 blah. The rest of it goes into her talking about how she went and got her nose done, and something happened, and then she got surgery on her nose. So Cardi B is no stranger to surgery, but very interesting when she talks about how she likes being perfect, and she equated her surgery jobs to getting her body to be perfect in the way that she thinks of having the kind of body that she wants. So, that's Cardi B for you. What did I call Cardi B? I think I said Cardi B is if there was a video game where you fought against the thoughts, it was like a fighting game, and you fought all of the thoughts, and you had to get to the final boss. I think the 3 last fights were Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, and Cardi B.
Yeah, that's right.
And if it was Street Fighter, I think I said Nicki Minaj was Sir Vega, and then Megan Thee Stallion was Sagat, and then Cardi B was the final boss, M. Bison. And if you fought that, if you got the game set to the hardest difficulty, man, it's gonna take a lot of continues before you get that final boss down.
Exactly.
But Cardi B is on record talking about how she will rob guys and drug them and rob them in their sleep, and if you make her mad and you cheat on her, she'll get you drunk and make you think that y'all about to have a threesome, but the other girl will be a transgender. So Cardi B is definitely ruthless in her ratchetness, and she's unapologetic about it. But what did you think about what Cardi had to say about surgeries and wanting to be perfect, and perfect being a part of her desire to do the surgery thing?
It's not surprising. But to me, it's sad overall when people feel the need to do this still. Naturally shaped before all the surgeries. She didn't have a bad shape where things are as accentuated as they are now. No, but who wants a body full of rubber? Like, what are you doing? Oh, hey, I'm about to go have sex with a tire. Bro, I think I shared this here. I'm not sure. But some years back, man, it's probably like 2015, 2014. I don't know what I was doing in Miami, but I was there. And I went to King of Diamonds while it was still King of Diamonds. It was a KOD. And we in there and we hanging out. We doing our thing, man. Hey, man, it's a party. It was getting towards the end of the night. And man, I seen one with, a big old butt. I know it wasn't real, but those were hot off the press back then. It was more exotic back then, I guess you would say. So I was like, hey, what's that? What's going on with this? So I commissioned her over. Told I was broke as hell. Told I was broke as hell. I'm a college student, just trying to live life, man. Make my Saturday night. And so yeah, man, she gave me a discount dance. I was all for that. So as I'm sitting there getting my customer service, I'm sitting there. I'm grabbing for what I think's her ass. Oh, it's not her ass. It was more like a basketball inserted between her skin and some other tissue. It was the hardest thing I've ever felt. I was like, what is this? Granted, science has come a long way. Some people still choose to go into the jungles of Brazil to get it done. But still, they're from what I see, all of them aren't as rough as the one I experienced. But be that as it may, I'm not trying to have sex with a basketball. All right. If I wanted to do that, I'll drill a hole in mines. So I'm not going to go out here and pay for dates, or do anything else like this. That is bizarre. And so for these women, and you hear their horror stories, you know, the ones that come out and say, I regret getting it. Oh my God, men only want me for sex now. Girl, men only wanted you for sex before that. That's all you display. And that's a trip. And that ties into the last part we were talking about last time. They think just because they're not actively thinking of sex right now, that they're not thinking about sex when their attraction meter is going up and down. The attraction meter is tied to what kind of sex or any kind of sex you're getting at all. And so, what was I tying that into with this one? What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. But it's in that same ballpark where we have to basically decode and understand where women are coming from, because when women are talking to men, they're using men language in order to communicate to us. So we're interpreting that as all right, 2 rights, a left, all right, cool, all right, another left. That's what she said. But then what does she really feel? Well, you're supposed to know that when I make my rights, it's actually, I'm really trying to make a left. And then when I do the left sometimes on weekends, well, who said all of this? And so once you actually get into the science of a woman's mind, you can really start to, and start using your own definitions of what she's actually really saying. It gives you a lot more peace of mind when they start behaving, out of pocket. So for women like Cardi B, whose lifestyle is completely out of pocket, all right, and she's saying in one breath, all right, that hey, this isn't about having low self-esteem or nothing like that or blah blah blah. No, that's exactly what it is. That's it. That's saying, hey, make a right, then make a left. Then when you go, okay, she said it's not about self-esteem. But then when you hang around her and you start asking her questions about how she used to look before all this, I bet she give you a whole bunch of insecure answers. So this isn't about looking bad or it's about looking bad, but this isn't about having, thinking that she doesn't have low self-esteem or nothing like that. No, you really have to parse through and get to what she's actually getting at. So for people who have these types of surgeries, I do think it's from a lack of self-esteem. Where that comes from, who knows? All right, but it's extremely unattractive. All right. I don't personally know one man who enjoys or wants that. And so for a woman like Cardi B to do it, it's her job. She's a sex symbol anyway. So she's gonna keep doing what she need to do to stay relevant and all this other stuff. But for the girl working at Walgreens, or the RN at the local hospital, you just doing this stuff just for what? It's madness, man. So not a favor of it, not a fan. Dogon does not co-sign brick bodies because to the touch, they feel like Mr. Thing. So
well, they're automatons like the RN and what else did you say? The RN, a lot of those women are automatons, right? They're what did you call them? The autopilot thing?
That's right. Yeah, they robots. They bot it out.
And so, right, and so they're just doing it mechanically. They're on autopilot with it. So if Holly Weird, right? If we're going to characterize Holly Weird as this pocket universe where things like open marriages and swinging and all of that other weird stuff are running amok, then I think in the hip hop world, stuff like fake ass and those types of surgeries are a part of that pocket universe that run amok.
So stupid.
Because I feel like Cardi B is just a representation of what is put out with respect to that particular type of content. Like I hear it. I don't listen to a ton of newer artists because I hate most new music. But some of the stuff that I have heard, like I've heard Lil Baby talking about how he'll pay for a woman's surgery. he'll pay for a woman's new butt. I've heard French Montana. He said they call me Mr. Get Your Tummy Gone. 2 Chainz had a song.
What kind of
2
flex
Chainz,
is that?
yeah, on 2 Chainz,
kind of
one of
flex
2 Chainz, one of 2 Chainz songs. He was like, take you to Dr. Miami for your surgery. So these simping,
That shit weird, bro.
I know it is weird. So these weirdo rappers, right, are talking about it in their music all the time. So like the women are just going to respond because at the end of the day, let's be clear. And for the most part, and this might sound like a judgmental take here, but I tend to group most pro athletes and rappers into the same boat. I tend to group them all in the same category in terms of their sensibilities. To me, they're kind of one and the same to me. And so women like Cardi B, and it isn't just Cardi B, but women who think like her. So it could be women in the music game, or women who are in the modeling thing, the OnlyFans thing. Women who live this type of lifestyle, they're all after the same types of guys, rappers, ball players, stuff like that. And so if you're consuming that type of content on a regular basis where the guys are saying, I'm all for it, I'll even pay for it, and those are the guys that you want, then you're probably going to in your head, you're probably going to deduce, I need to get my body to look like that in order to attract a man like that, because those are the kind of men that you want. And so women are just doing that in response to try and get the kind of guys that they're after. So it has nothing to do with who they are or how they see themselves, and it has everything to do with how they think those types of guys see them. And so that's why they do it. And because this music is such a powerful force, it matriculates into the general population. I myself remember, and this was even before, I would say this was around 2013, 2014. Also down here in South Florida, I'm at Cafe Iguanas, and the girls and the girls who are bartending in there, they all look the same. It's like they had the same. It's like they were pumped out of the same factory. It's like they came off the same assembly line. They had the same hairstyle. The only thing that was different about them was their face and their skin complexion. Everything else was the same. Fake surgery ass. And most of them had the, fake surgery breasts. They all look the same. And this was like 7-8 years ago, before it became a situation where rappers are openly talking about how they'll pay for it. And so, this is just a part of that ecosystem. That's all this is. And like I said before, it would be one thing if I felt as though something like this was going to stay within the parameters of these various areas, of these various pocket universes, these multiverses. But as we clearly know, music, probably more than any other thing, hip hop music in particular, has this ability to control regular people's actions and behaviors and have them conforming to certain norms that they otherwise wouldn't conform to if they weren't exposing themselves to this form of mind control. So if Cardi B is saying, I feel like I'm perfect because I went and got these surgeries, then what's to stop Walgreens or RN Girl from saying, I will be perfect when I go get my own surgery? And like, if they're exposing themselves to the same mind control that Cardi B is, and even what's more, because Cardi B is an active participant because she's making the music herself as well, then of course they're going to listen to this stuff so much, and they're going to want the same kind of guys that Cardi B wants, the same kind of guys that Young Miami, Megan Thee Stallion, whatever, all the rest of these chicks, Sweetie, name them all off. They're all the same. They're a dime a dozen. I don't give a damn.
Glorilla.
Yeah, there you go. So you listen to enough of this mind control on a regular basis. Of course, you feel like you're perfect if you don't have any surgery. But and this is the thing, like this type of stuff pertains to certain segments of the population more so than others because it disproportionately affects certain groups. So like people who are exposing themselves to the hip hop stuff and the Cardi B stuff on a regular basis, mostly going to be black and brown people, because that's disproportionately, from a statistical standpoint, who's mostly listening to this. But look at all of the non-black women, for example, or these other races of women. And it isn't a race thing, and it's not a race thing. I'm not trying to make it a race thing. It's more so about who's listening to this kind of mind control. It's mostly a certain kinds of people. So I think that there is a correlation between that and the fact that I can go to the gym on a very regular basis and see certain kinds of women who aren't going to get surgery, but are going to make sure that they're not missing a day of legs. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to feel like they're as best as they can be because they went and got a surgery done, even if they have kids. They're just going to go hard in the gym. They're not going to miss a day of lunges. They're not going to miss a day of deadlifts. They're not going to miss a day of squats. They're not going to miss a day of hip thrusters. They're going to be in the gym putting in work so that they can create the kind of body that they want naturally. And real men out there appreciate that more than these fake automaton women out here exposing themselves to mind control in such heavy doses, feeling as though they're trying to hook, line, and sinker a rapper or a baller. And so let me go get my surgery in order to make sure that that happens. So there's different layers that we can look at this from. There's cultural things, there's social things, there's economic stuff. But at the end of the day, me personally, I'm a natural guy. Now, certain things that you want to supplement, and again, we can kind of look at it from a preference standpoint all day of the week. I'm less offended by like the breast type surgeries, as long as it's not egregious, than I am by putting stuff in your hips and your thighs and your ass. To me, I just find that to be completely reprehensible. And I just personally, there's no substitute for a woman who's disciplined enough to say, I'm just going to get in the gym and I'm going to put the work in. But that's just me. And I'm not a rapper or a ball player who's living this weirdo Hollywood lifestyle, this weirdo social media socialite lifestyle, and saying and living this robot lifestyle.
Exactly.
Where I'm just parroting this speech and parroting this ideology and looking for the women who are going for the butt surgeries. But that's just me. Y'all can have your Cardi B's all day, have at it. You can take the rubber butts, the tire butts, the assembly line, escalator belt butts. Y'all can have all of that. And I'm just going to go and I'll just be the guy who's over here going for the girl who squats 135 twice a week, who does the lunges 2 or 3 times a week, who's on the hip abductor, the prone leg curl, the hack squat. Because I know all the leg workouts. I'll be in the gym. The seated leg curl, the leg extension. Those women are the real MVP. Y'all get my respect, not the Cardi B varieties who are going to sit there and give up and relent. Oh, I had kids, so I'll never get my perfect body back. Let me get surgery. That's a defeatist mentality. And it does reek of insecurities. And it does speak to how you view yourself and not how you think others, particularly men, view you. So that's pretty much all I had.
Yeah, I get that. I still don't give a pass for breast augmentation. I've seen some A's and B's. It's just it's the matter of how the body shape, and it's just like, well, you got an A going on because of all of that going on over there. We can make this work.
Right.
But to me, whenever the it's too much for me. Breast enhancements, it speaks the same thing. I was against breast enhancements and reductions for what you doing?
Sometimes the reduction does become necessary. It's not a cosmetic thing. Them chicks be hurting sometimes.
I know. But yeah. I don't care about that. You talk about, oh, my back hurt. And I was like, man, watch out. And come back to work Tuesday with the same chest, or we're going to have an issue. All right. So, yeah, man. But yeah, I was never for those things. And I don't know how this stuff looks, when they're 60. Right? Is it a grapefruit and a sock? Is that what it's looking like? And the men like us men, and for them right now, for them doing this, ladies, if you're considering it, all right, if you and your girlfriends are talking about it, whatever, and a man likes a soft woman, he loves a soft woman. It's I don't know what it is. It's like a hot knife through butter. You really can't put into words how much that does stuff for us. But the harder your body gets, things get a little, at least for me. Now some dudes be into those Miss Olympian types of, it's like, hey, look, hey, if you want a linebacker, sir, go get a linebacker. All right. So but
I think those guys might be a bit on a bit of a spectrum.
Don't you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm
You
just
think?
guessing.
I'm like,
I'm just
nah,
guessing.
bro, that ain't
Why
it.
would you? Yeah. Mm-mm.
What you mean, bro? She like, nah, don't try to explain this to me, dog. Don't try to explain this to me, bro. But we love a soft woman. When they come off of them tables, they ain't soft no more. And even when they get their stomachs done, tucked and move around, and it looks like, some shop wood with, that's been sandpapered down. It never has this clean, cool texture to it. It's weird stuff. And y'all be on Instagram and TikTok and parading these scars around like there's some type of reward. It is the most bizarre behavior. What I'm witnessing in human history right now, I never thought I would see these things. And people are getting online full confidence, twirling around with these injections, other things, doing the latest goofy dance that are meant for kids. But here she go, late 20s, acting like a middle schooler. What do we do? What is really happening? And so for Cardi B and out here speaking to the rest of her people, all right. So I like my women like a good racist. I like to know where they stand. And by them walking around with they multicolored hair, or them walking around with injections and all these other things, they did a lot of guesswork for me. I already know where I stand with this one. It's the covert ones that I have issues with. The one that you've been dealing with for about 6-8 months, and you thought things was cool, and all of a sudden she talking about considering surgery. Why you trying to pull the wool over me now? You ain't just think of this now. But the ones that already done did it, nah, man, hey, you done already eliminated certain people out your pool, unless you want to go deal with that. But me, I don't want that. That is to me, they can have that. I don't know what other things come with that, mentality, personality wise. I just can't. So Cardi B, you can have at it. All right. Excuse me. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And so they can have this look about them. It's kind of like with Amber Rose. And when we was doing her video today, we didn't mention surgery, but her face looks adjusted. And I don't know if it's Botox, skin pulled back. I don't know what's going on, but they don't look normal anymore. They look strange. So keep it natural, ladies. Keep it tight. Like JV Wynn said, man, if you want that ass, go do them squats. Challenge you and your girls. Do squat challenges. Get in there. Yeah. All right. We want to see y'all win out here, natural ladies.
No, and a lot of them are doing it, and they are the ones that's winning. Trust me. I just think that it speaks. I think that it says a lot about. I think stuff like that, decisions like that, they suggest a lot about your internal character and your fortitude. To me, there's a difference between the internal fortitude of a woman who says, "I'm gonna get a surgery or a procedure that's gonna enhance my butt," versus a woman who decides, "I'm gonna hit the gym." And I've just always been a proponent of women who are into fitness, because you get the body and you retain the softness. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win. And I'm not sitting up here saying all women need to hit the gym. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you're somebody who's sitting here thinking about surgery, then think long and hard about that, because there's ways to get what you want. And all you need is a little work ethic. and discipline to not eat like trash 24/7.
And
Like if you have those two things, in tow, you can get quote unquote the perfect body without having to resort to artificial means, as you said, the long-term ramifications of which you won't know until 20-30 years down the line.
ugh,
I'm just I've just never, and I can spot it a mile away too. That's the thing about it is, like, guys, I see, like, I know a fake ass when I see one. It's like I have a radar for this stuff. The proportions never look they never look right. It always looks like something's
never.
off. Even the most perfect of
Yep.
surgeries,
Yep.
you're not going to be able to change, and you're not going to be able to make that make sense in terms of what the body that God gave you. Okay, the one that you're born with. There's no, even the greatest surgery in the world cannot make something artificial make sense in terms of what your body type actually is. So it's easily spottable. It just is. So I just think in the long run, stay away from it, stay off the table, and just, like I said, I'm not trying to be the guy who's like everybody needs to get in the gym and be in the gym 3, 4, 5. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You cannot go to the gym ever for all I care. But if you're thinking about changing your body up and you want to do it artificially, there's better decisions to make than doing that. There are. And so just bite the bullet and put the work in, because you'll be better off for it in the long run. It's just, guys like, and then another thing with the hard bodies, as a result of the surgeries, the harder you become. Like, a man's body is supposed to be hard, not
Thank you. Exactly.
Bask in your femininity. Okay, please, ladies, keep the softness.
Please.
Just go to the gym. Just go to the gym and put the work in. This hard stuff, I'm not trying to, which one? Rubber is a poor conductor of electricity, right? So, we'll be good if we put your ass in a water with a toaster in it, But if, but if we're in a fire, if the house is on fire, and you have an ass surgery, your ass might catch on fire, on top of the other problems that we got to deal with because you went this route. So just stay away from it.
It might melt.
Yeah, like like you said, I'm with you.
Doing?
I don't know, man. Like you said, and I'm with you. To Cardi B out there and all of her acolytes, go ahead, man. And again, I'm not speaking to the woman I'm not speaking to the women who resort to cosmetic surgery for legitimate medical reasons, because there's that out there.
Yeah, right.
I'm speaking purely on the cosmetic front, purely on the I'm lazy, and so I'm going to cut out the middleman of hard work and just jump straight to the source front. That's what I'm talking about.
They rather say
y'all want to go and pay thousands of dollars for these surgeries when you can just get what you need by doing it in natural ways. And I respect the women so much who decide to do it the natural way. And if you want to follow suit the way Cardi B did and do all of this stuff and be a defeatist because you had kids and you feel like you got to do this because you had kids, then y'all can go over there and live in that weird old Hollywood lane and do all of that kind of stuff. And I'll just stay over here in the world of reality, because I don't do the multiverse stuff. I stay away from the surgeries.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not the move because of the laziness. And it speaks, and like you said, it speaks to their character of how much effort are they willing to put in for what they feel like they want. And she really want that body so much so that she'll save $5,000 or put down $2,500. It's like, girl, your car beat up. You driving, a Thought Acura that's barely making it. Why don't you put some stuff in there? Nah, I gotta get these ass shots though. And that's the part where it's just like, well, that's really, I mean, it's something about it, man. So that's why I stay away from it. If she can easily afford it, I don't care, girl. If you're struggling to afford it, easily afford it, either way, you can't. And I said this some pause before about integrity or stuff like that, but man, you can't buy integrity, man. And you have to be able to be somebody with some type of morals. And I'm talking to the woman that's on the fence. if they on the fence, man, it's just like, yeah, I was thinking about it. I be struggling with it. I be hearing feedback, but I still want to look like that though. It's like, it's overrated. Nobody's buying that. The only people that's buying that are incel kids. And when I say kids, the ones that's middle school, high school, that have access to the internet and just want to see some booty and don't know what a real booty is. And the sad part is they don't even know what a real good booty, big booty is. And another thing is the girls with naturally big booties are getting it too. The strippers and stuff like that. It's like, girl, you was already big. What are you getting? What are you doing this other stuff for? Well, I didn't like the cellulite and I ain't like it look like this. And now you're just getting augmented. And so it's just like, hey man, so exactly. So these young guys out there, they don't know what a real booty is. They've been exposed to all this fake crap. So they think everything's one and the same. Young man, it's not. So to quote Michael Jordan, stop. Get some help. All right.
You know what?
Get some help.
And there is nothing left to say on that. On that note, there is nothing left to say.
Bro, you gotta play. You got it on the rewatch, on the replay, bro. You gotta play that meme after I said that, bro.
Yeah. I think that was well said. And yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. It's just, future generations got it out for them. They got their work cut out for them because it's becoming, we talk a lot about the normalization of goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Because of just the way that the world is. And this is another example, right? So, sexual deviancy is normalized and,
yes,
stuff like, polyamory and all of these weird notions and concepts. This stuff is normalized now to where it's like, whatever, no big deal. Ass shots, normalized. Goofiness. This is all normalized, I'll never, I went to that. I remember I went to that bar and every bartender, they all looked the same. They all look the same. And it's just like, did y'all all go to the same doctor?
Most
like,
likely.
what is this?
Most likely. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because, man, we could spend a whole pod going on and on about how there is no substitute for just a real woman.
There's none, ladies.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for it. I mean, just read the comment section and some of those videos. Men, resoundingly against it. They don't like it. And like I said, the only ones that's going simp crazy are the old fan subscribers and ducks, the involuntarily celibate, or the people that's on some type of spectrum. Where it's just like, bro, you got a plastic fetish, bro. You don't even like women no more. You like this plastic figure thing. Mm-hmm. And some of them get so much surgery, bro. It's just like, man, what is underneath that? And guys would be like, oh, hey, but look at that ass. So yeah, man,
it's terrible.
Yeah, so those people can have it, and let them live in their own worlds, man. All of us same people over here, man. We combine together, man. It's more of us than you think, y'all.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, you're absolutely right. The guys who are going to be championing stuff like that, those are the guys that, the ladies, women, they get with those guys and then they realize this dude isn't even a real man. I hate this guy.
Exactly.
I hate this guy.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, yeah, you are an automaton and you got into a situation with a male automaton.
Hey,
what do you think is going to happen? So yes, and those guys, you're absolutely correct. They subscribe to OnlyFans. They follow Instagram models. They DM chicks on the internet.
Weird.
They do all of that goofy stuff. Yeah. They do all of the goofy stuff, all of it, and a lot of those guys got money, right? So goofy guys ain't all broke. A lot of these goofy dudes got money, and they'll sit there and they'll be goofy and they'll endorse your goofiness by paying for these ridiculous procedures. Only for the relationship to dissolve because you realize that you don't even like being with this guy in the first place. You hate him, as a matter of fact, because of how unlike a man he actually is. But whatever, man. Cardi B and all of her fans, man. Look, when I get to the final balls, I knock M. Bison out. M. Bison ain't gonna get me. I I beat Street Fighter on the hardest difficulty. I ain't give up, and I wasted all my continues, but I beat M Bison on the last difficulty. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on Super Nintendo. Oh no, I got Bison. Bison ain't getting me. Straight up.
What was that? What was that one, bro? That was on 64. That went dumb. It was Killer Instinct. I think that's what it was called.
Killer Instinct. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was fire. I don't know the bosses in that, but I just remember, man, I was going dumb on that thing.
Yeah. You got to string them ultra combos. That's how you won in Killer Instinct. It was them combos.
The simpler times, man. Hey, take me back, man. Y'all can have this internet, man. Take me back to regular. Y'all can have it.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good times, but that'll do it for tonight's pod, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this week's episode, man. January the 24th, Conscious Approach on YouTube. As always, thank you to the tribe for supporting that logical content. My name is JV Wins. That is Dogon SS. Please subscribe to the channel as we continue to up the ante. Don't be shocked if you see an ad or two pop across your web browser telling you to click to head over to the channel on YouTube to join the Conscious Approach tribe as we continue to pump out this logical content each and every week. So yeah, we have a goal to get to 1K subscribers. We are on the way. Wherever you're watching this video, whether it's on the Meta page or on the YouTube channel, share this video wherever you see it. We like kicking this game. Subscribe, like, follow, all of that good stuff. Follow Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH. You can also follow me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. RSS feed for Conscious Approach is coming soon, so you'll be able to actually download this wherever you like to listen to your audio feeds, Apple Music, Spotify, all of that good stuff, Pandora, wherever you like to get that. So be on the lookout for that as we continue to improve the quality of these videos, the quality of our aesthetics. We moving up, man. So very excited for what's going down the pike. And we love to have everybody who we can to join us for the ride as we continue to grow this community. We like what we do. We think we do it better than most. So we want you to join us. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment. We do respond and pay attention to comments as long as they are not of the troll variety. So we detect trolls. If you are trolling in the comments, we will ignore you. However, if you leave a comment with substance, there's a good chance that if we don't respond to it, we will at least have seen it. So always like to give those disclaimers out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We look forward to you joining us on the next video.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS. Now you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or here on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button over there as well. All right. So as I always say on every pod, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. All right. Don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. And yeah, and until the next time, guys, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe, man. Hit them bell for those notifications for whenever we go live. All right. So again, this is Dogon SS, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yep, that's right. So until next time, we'll see y'all later. We are out. Peace.
Peace.
Ladies, stay away from the knife. Stay away from the knife.
Stay natural, sister. Stay natural.